while conversing in a forest of mystery, we three errant friends slowly arrived before a sacred mount. Without even a bit of fear, we were witnesses of something unusual and unexpected. To narrate this for the good of our beloved readers, it is urgent. Suddenly, an unpolluted millinery rock opened in this rocky place as if it had been divided into two exactly equal pieces, which left us astonished and perplexed. Before having had enough time to appraise this, without any unfounded apprehension, I approached the mysterious granite door, as if attracted by a strange force. Without any alien impediment, I courageously passed the threshold of a temple. In the interim, my serene friends were seated in front of a gigantic boulder which was closing before them. If we were to try to decipher with minimum detail all of the wonders of that subterranean sanctuary, then frankly, even an extraordinary glossary would be insufficient. Without any savoir-faire, I prefer to talk in a grosso modo about this, but with sincerity and limiting myself to narrate just what occurred. Lively and animated by the living flame of the spirit, I advanced along a narrow passage until reaching a small hall. That exotic place resembled a writing den, office, or lawyer's dispatch. I found an archon of destiny seated before the desk, an undecipherable personage, an hermetic judge of karma, a mystical provident dressed as an elegant modern gentleman. How wise that Counselor Cohen was. Foreseer, sublime, infallible, and terribly divine. I approached his desk with profound veneration. The sacred fire shone on his face. Immediately, I directly felt its deep significance. Thank you, Venerable Master. I spoke with infinite humbleness. The austere Hierophant told his parable in a sibylline tone, saying, "This fellow man," clearly referring to one of my two friends who were waiting for me outside, "is the ragged type. He will always be in misery. This other fellow," referring now to my other friend, "is the Samael type." "What? Samael?" I repeated. Samael, a fighter and spiritual friend, like the progressive Buddhist samurai from the empire of the rising sun. Finally, when directing himself towards my insignificant person who has no value, he said, "You are the military type, because you have to drag multitudes to form the world's Salvation Army, to initiate the new age of Aquarius." Then he proceeded as such. "Your specific mission is to create human beings to teach the people how to build their astral, mental, and causal bodies so that they can incarnate their human soul." After this, he stood up from his writing desk with the evident purpose of searching for one of my books in his library. Once in his hands, inebriated with ecstasy, he discoursed. "This book that you fortunately sent by mail to a certain fellow was liked very much." What happened next is easy to conclude. With infinite veneration and great humbleness, without any type of empty show, very far from any vain infatuation, I bid farewell to the Venerable One and left the temple. To now seriously infer, find, and meditate upon the essential matter of this narrative is urgent and indispensable. While excluding from our lexicon every cutting remark that is in bad taste, we emphasize the following postulation. It is indispensable to create the human being within ourselves here and now. Since I am teaching the doctrine to people, obviously I am a creator of human beings. There is a need to create within ourselves the resources of a human being. It is good to remember that the times of the end are at hand. Much has been said in occult literature about the two paths. I am specifically referring to the spiral and direct paths. Unquestionably, the two paths are augustly opened only before the authentic human being, never before the intellectual animal. I could never forget the final moments of the fifth initiation of fire. After all of the recapitulative processes, I had to courageously confront a terribly divine nirvanic guardian. The blessed Lord of perfections, while showing me the spiral nirvanic paths, said, "This is good work. Then, just as when a lion roars, he exclaimed with a great voice as he pointed to the direct path, saying, "This is superior work." Posteriorly, I saw him advancing towards me with that tremendous imperative of the great majesties. He interrogated me, and I answered him, establishing the following dialogue. Question: through which of these two paths are you going to continue now? Answer: let me think about it. Question: do not think about it. Answer immediately. Define yourself. Answer: I will go along the direct path that conduces unto the Absolute. Question: but what is that you're saying? Do you not realize that this path is extremely painful? I repeated, I will go to the Absolute. Question: how did it occur to you to enter through there? Do you not comprehend how you will suffer? What is going on with you, sir? Answer: I will go to the Absolute. Well, you are warned. These were the final words of the Guardian, after which he solemnly withdrew. On another night, I was out of my supra-sensible bodies in complete exercise of my functions as Atman or Spirit Man. In the middle of Nirvana, solitarily, I was upon the beautiful terrace of the Mansion of Delights in the Corner of Love. I saw the inhabitants of that region floating in the sacred space in a constantly increasing number. Divine algorithms, sublime inspiration, unforgettable noumena that happily took seats in the garden full of perfumed flowers. They were Atman Buddhi Manas Trimutis of perfection. In the instance in which I write these lines, it occurs to me to repeat that verse from the book, The Occult Abode, which literally says, I am the sacred crocodile Sebek. I am the flame with 3 wicks, and my wicks are immortal. I enter the region of Sikkim. I enter into the region of the flames which have defeated my adversaries. An improvising igneous creature took the floor in the name of the sacred confraternity and said, My brother, why are you going on that path that is so hard? Here in Nirvana, we are happy. Stay here with us. My answer, filled with great energy, was as follows. The intellectual animals could not patronize me with their temptations. You gods will not, even by a long shot. I will go to the Absolute. The ineffable ones were speechless, and I promptly withdrew from that abode. The voice of the silence says, Know that the Bodhisattva who liberation changes for renunciation, who renounces nirvana, to don the miseries of secret life, to live to benefit mankind, is called thrice honored, O thou candidate for woe throughout the cycles. The secret way leads also to paranirvanic bliss, but at the close of kalpas without number, nirvanas gained and lost from boundless pity and compassion for the world of deluded mortals. Nirvana has cycles of activity and cycles profound rest. In this epoch of the 20th century, nirvana is in a period of action. The nirvanis, who were incarnated in the first races, only now begin to reincarnate again. When this present epoch passes, they will then submerge within the infinite joy until the future Mahamanvantara. The goal of the long path of woe and bitterness is different. It implies total renunciation. However, it leads us to the Absolute. On a given night, among many others, while I was happily in the state of samadhi, I saw the planet Mars shining with purpurine coloring. Certainly its vibrations were of a telepathic nature. In my tranquil heart, I felt that I was being urgently called from the central nucleus of that planetary bulk. That sparkling became unmistakable. Promptly, dressed with Tusoma Heliacon, I transported myself to the living innermost depths of that world. Resplendently dressed with the garment of the celestial militia was Samael, my own individual monad, my real inner being, the divine regent of that planet, waiting for me. With reverence, I prostrated myself before the omniscient, illustrious lord of that abode. And I said,
Here I am, father of mine. Why did you call me? You, my son, have forgotten me. No, father of mine, I have not forgotten you. Yes, my son, if the gate of the universe were to be delivered unto you, you would forget about me. Oh, father of mine, I came to kiss your hand and to receive your benediction. The Omni-Merciful blessed me, and I kneeled to kiss his dexterous hand. In the depths of the planetary temple, a scene of pain appeared. Afterwards, I entered into profound reflection. Why did I choose the path by myself? Why did I forget my father before the terrible presence of the guardian of the paths? Jesus, the great Gnostic priest, while on the Mount of Olives, gave us a great lesson when he exclaimed, "O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt." 18 years later, with thunder and lightning, I tore my vestures off while protesting because of too much pain. Woe, woe, woe. A virgin of Nirvana answered me, "Thus, this is the way that thou chose for thyself." The triumphs for us, the inhabitants of Nirvana, are minor, and that is why it is evident that we suffer less. Nonetheless, because thy triumphs will be major, thy sufferings will be also more intense. When I wanted to rest a little, the agents of karma recriminated me, saying, "What is going on with you, sir? Are you going to walk? Move ahead, my friend, move ahead, move ahead." Patiently, I continued my march upon the rocky path that leads to final liberation.